Welcome everyone. I've got my brother's wife who's joining from the UK. She's also leading the Pathfinders Day. So we're going to be doing the computer's owner just now. So the requirements on the owner, the first one is describe the function and identify the following components on a computer. Basically, it's asking you to identify some things that are found on a computer, and I'll be sending you the link with the test questions. I'll be sending you also this presentation that is on PDF so that you can read and answer the question. So the first thing to identify is a CPU. CPU, which just stands for Central Processing Unit, and that is the brain behind a computer, where all arithmetic and logic and program flow is performed. So basically, if you notice something like this on a computer, that houses the CPU, and the next picture on the bottom is what the CPU looks like. And then something else that you must identify is called memory or RAM. RAM, which stands for random access memory. Right, so that is what basically random RAM means. So RAM is volatile memory, which means that when the power is turned off, the information stored there is lost. So most programs on a computer are loaded onto and executed from RAM. So RAM is also used as space where the computer stores the results of calculation. Right, so those are your RAM cards. As you can see, that is how the RAM looks like. But there's just some background noise. I hope I'm still clear. Am I still clear even with the background noise?
Yes, you are.
Okay, sure. Then the motherboard is located inside the main unit and contains the core circuitry of the computer, including the CPU. It also contains slot and other circuit cards, which can be plugged in to add extra functions to the computer. So basically, this is what the motherboard looks, and this is like also a processing unit on the computer. And then you also have what is called the hard drive. The hard drive is a non-volatile data storage device. So this is where data is stored on a computer, and usually it is not removable. It has very large storage capacity for your computer. And most of the time, your operating systems are stored in the hard drive, and they operate from there. So data stored on a hard drive will not be destroyed even if the computer is off. That's why you can switch your computer off and on, and your program can still be running. You won't lose your applications when you switch your computer on and off. And that is basically how the hard drive looks like. I think these days you've got terabyte in size of hard drive when you talk of computers. Right, and then external hard drive, these are like any device that is connected to your computer. For storage purposes, you can take information from one computer to another or from one place to another, and it is easier to carry information around because you can just install it on any PC and be able to access information. You have that as an external hard drive, or you have something like that as an external hard drive, and they normally call it USB. And USB, what it simply means is Universal Serial Bus. That is the meaning of USB. And then you have your optical drive. So an optical drive is a device which reads optimally writes data to optical storage media such as CDs and DVDs. So your optical drive will be something like that, where you place your CD if you want to write, or where you place your DVD if you want to write a movie on your DVD, and you can give to someone. So people that write discs, they normally use this optical drive. And you can also have one that gets attached to the computer and be able to use it. Then you've got your input devices. So input devices is any device that is brought to a computer through which data is provided to the computer. And input devices can be like the mouse, the keyboard, network cards or storage devices, cameras or microphones. So anything that is plugged into a computer can be your input device. So there is a mouse, a keyboard, there's a data card, and there's a camera that can be used. So there are many things that you can connect to a computer, and they're just called input devices. And then you've got your monitor. So the monitor is the display screen that is normally used on a computer. And laptops come with one that is fitted, and most desktop you need to buy a separate monitor for you to be able to see images that are generated by the computer. So long ago, we used to have something like that as a computer with a monitor. And these days, they are normally like flat, like that. So those are the monitors that you normally have. And these days, you can also connect a TV as a monitor because technology is always advancing. Then a keyboard. I won't say much about a keyboard. We all know a keyboard, it has keys where you can type in, and some have numbers. So roughly 50% of all keyboards keys produce letters, numbers, and signs and characters. So you can press the characters or press the characters, it will give you something that is different. So keyboards are different in functionality, but mostly they have the same operation. And then we've got a printer. It is just used for capturing output that is coming from a computer, basically on paper, or you've got a printer that can print CDs as well, the cover of CDs. So basically that is your printer that you have there. And you also have a mouse. I've shown you the mouse. That is how a mouse looks like. And what is very interesting about the mouse is the name mouse was given to the device because it looks exactly like the mouse. That is the original mouse, and you can see the mouse that is for a computer. So because it has a resemblance of that body and the tail, it is regarded as a mouse, hence the name the mouse. Then modem or network card wireless router. So a modem stands for modulator or demodulator. So they combined modulator and demodulator to have modem. And it is just a hardware that is used for computers to communicate via a telephone line with any other audio channel. And modems are basically dial-up for internet connections, but these days we have Wi-Fi routers that have better speed. And then we also have a network card that serves the same function, except that it connects a computer network to such as an Ethernet and is much faster than a modem. So it's also one place where internet can be connected through. And basically that is how your modem looks like. And your card, this is how your network card looks like. And the routers, you've got routers like this, some that have 5G capability. Right, and then a digital camera is just a camera that can be taking still images or video images that can also be connected to a computer, and then you can get those images or the video footage and put it in a computer, and it can be manipulated on a computer to produce a better image or to just better the video quality via a computer. And then a scanner. So the scanners that we have, got a scanner that is just an ordinary scanner. Some that are used when you go to the shops, they scan the barcodes, and we've got some handheld scanners. And basically those are your scanners. They scan the image or the paper that you have and take the image into a computer, right? And then there is this one, describe the proper handling and storage of techniques of discs, CDs, DVDs, USB flash drives. So for all your DVDs, you need to take care of them and CDs so that they do not get scratches. So you can have a case where you can keep your CDs safe, sleeves that you can use to keep your CDs, and the flash drives, they are normally quite easy to keep, but they can get damaged by water. So for your flash drives, you just need to make sure that they don't get into contact with water, because they get damaged and you can lose your data. And then explain the difference between read-only and write-once and rewrite media. So your read-only media is the CD that you would buy from a shop that has data on it, maybe a song by your favorite artist, and you cannot put anything on it beside what is there. And then the read or write once, the write once is the one that you can buy from a shop, but you can rewrite on it once. Once you write on it, you cannot use it again. And then there are others that you can write and rewrite media. So you can delete several times and erase and put something new. You can continue to use it as much as you want. So that is the difference between the different types of read-only, write once, write, rewrite media. Those are the examples that we have. And then determine the following on a computer system: processor speed, storage capacity, and the hard drive and memory capacity. So for Windows, it's a simple technique that you need to use. You click the start button, and then you go to my computer, select properties, and then it will give you a tab that can show you the processor speed, the memory capacity. And to find the storage, you also click the start button and go to my computer. And then generally, if you look at the drive C, it will give you the properties of that drive and show you the capacity. So most people use Windows or Mac. So for Mac, it's also very easy. You just go to the Apple icon at the top, and then you click about this Mac, and then it will give you the information that you need when you go to ATA under the hardware. So basically, that is the instruction that you need to do. You will have this on the presentation, and you can actually try this and see how it works. And then for those that use Linux or Ubuntu system, so they just need to type the command that is in there. So it's just that command, and then it will tell you the processor speed, or you type the command at the bottom, and to give you the rest of the information that you may need to know about the computer that you are using. So yeah, there are some that use Linux. So those are the commands that you just need to know to get that information. And then the next question is, what are the advantages of increasing your processor speed, hard drive storage capacity, and RAM on a computer? So when you increase your processor speed, you are freeing up the memory of your computer. It means that it can perform the tasks much faster. It reduces what is called swapping. So if you have many programs that are opened on your computer, you'll notice that it is slow in responding when you give it commands. So when you free up the RAM, that helps you for the computer to be able to execute the commands that you give much easily. So if you free up the hard drive or the storage, it does not help you in the performance of the computer. So what you need to do when your computer is slow is to actually increase the RAM on the computer to have the memory, functional memory of the computer increased. And then list two different types of printers and explain the uses and advantages. So there's a laser printer. So a laser printer is a common type of a printer that it is very cheap to use. It is a workhorse. Normally businesses use that because it can produce high quality prints and cheaply. And then it also produces black and white and also can produce on color. And then the next one is an inkjet printer. So your inkjet printer works just like the laserjet printer. The only difference is that it is quieter, but it is a bit more expensive in terms of using, because print cartridges are very expensive. And it can print high quality prints which are very fine, but also it is prone to get damaged because it also has ink clogs that clogs the jets when it prints. So that's also a disadvantage that it has. So when you list the advantages or disadvantages, just remember the inkjet and the laserjet printer. So basically those are your cartridges that come with your inkjet printer, right? And then so basically that, I think most of you have seen that. And then explain how each of the following elements help protect a computer system. Why is computer safety so important? So there is backup of personal files. So once you're using a computer, it is important to do your backups. So an important fact about modern computing is that computers eventually fail. If the hard drive on a computer fails, it may be difficult or impossible to recover data that has been stored. So if you want to always be safe, you need to always make a backup. So the data that you would have backed up, you will never lose it. You always be able to find it. So most people can backup on cloud or backup on an external drive. So if the computer happens to crash, you will still be able to retrieve your data. And then whole system image backup, right? It is not nearly as important as backup program files because the program can be reinstalled when the computer is repaired or replaced. However, reinstalling every program that a computer user needs can also be time consuming and frustrating. If the system is backed up, it can be restored in short order. So even your program files, you can do a backup for them so that should anything happen to your computer, you can actually restore your programs and be able to access them. Right, surge protection. So surge, the alternative power currency that feeds the computers in our homes and in our businesses. Sometimes if there is disrupt in the power supply, or if lightning strikes, it can have induced large currents in power lines. So there will be too much electricity coming through to the computer. And if too much electricity comes to the computer, it often damages the power supply for the computer. And it is called a surge. And so something that protects you from the surge is something like that. It's called a surge protector that you can plug in on your wall and your devices will be safe. So that is an example of a surge protector. So a surge protector has a fuse on it that allows only a certain number of current voltage to pass through. If the voltage is too much, it will trip and your device will be fine. The only thing that you will replace there is a fuse. And the fuse is very cheap to replace. And then internet safety hardware and software. So we've got people that compromise the internet, and strangers log into your PC. They can compromise your data. They are called hackers. So hackers can often come to your PC. They look at your data to see if you're logging into any banking device. And if they notice that you're logging into a banking device, they can actually take your information and use your device, your information to withdraw money from your account and things like that. So one thing that you can do to help yourself, to protect yourself, is by putting firewalls and antivirus that are designed to block that. So if there's anyone who's trying to access your PC from any other place, your firewall will tell you that there is someone that is trying to access your PC, and then you can block that. Right, and then the next one is on assignment. It says write a 250-word essay, so I canceled that because I wanted to give a 3-minute oral report about the history of computers, including prominent events, personalities that are significant in the development of the computer, both hardware and software. This report should focus on the development of personal computer, not the internet or any other accessory functions of computing. So it is on assignment and we will get through that. So basically the information that you have, you've got people like Steve Wozniak, you can research on that, Steve Jobs, you can research about Apple, you can research about Microsoft, there is Brian Kenigan, Dennis Ritchie, Ken Thompson, Richard Stallman. All those names are people that you can actually research on and give your speech with regards to what they did. There is also a lot that you can research on data, that is dates when computers started, the people that started to produce computers, like the Xerox Alto, IBM, the Compaq, all those things, and even the dates when Google was founded, when Windows XP or Mac OS was released. So you can involve all those things in your search and give us a talk on 3 minutes on what you would have found with regards to the production of computers. Right, I will skip that. And then the other one says, spend 1 week chatting at the time you spend on a computer. List what time was spent on schoolwork, gaming, online. At the end of the week, evaluate with your counselor, family or group leader on your management of computer time relates to the Bible instructions on stewardship of our time and resources. So this one is something that I also want you to do just for a period of 1 week. You just tell us what you have been doing, how much time you spent on schoolwork, how much you spent doing game, if you're doing WhatsApp, how much time you spent on WhatsApp, just on a daily basis. If you don't have WhatsApp or your time is less, just give us at least what time you spend. So these verses, they actually tell us to be good stewards of our devices, and I've got them on the next slide. I'm going to just go there. So it says, Romans 14 verse 12, so then each of us will give an account of himself to God. So whatever time you have spent on this earth, you are going to give an account to God. So for the time you spend on a computer and how you use it, God will require from you faithfulness. So even if your parent is not seeing you, you need to be faithful on how you spend time on your computer. And Psalm chapter 14 verse 12 says, many times in your hands, deliver me from my enemies and from those who pursue me. So if you're using a computer, you will find that there is a lot of temptations that come around on the computer, buttons that ask you to click here and see something. And what I encourage you to do is see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, flee from temptation. So anything that is tempting that you see on a computer, flee, run away, because it will save you. Remember, whatever we're doing on a computer, God is watching. And then be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. That is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15 to 16. So you need to practice stewardship on using the computer. Do something for God. Share a word and pray for someone. So whilst you're on your computer, just think of something positive that you can do for God instead of just playing games or just watching a movie or just doing schoolwork. Just think of something positive that you can do for God and you can be a good steward. And then we are responsible for how we spend our time. and God expects us to use it in his service. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3 from verse 1 to 8, it tells us that there is a time for everything. There is a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot. So likewise, there is time to compute, and there's a time not to compute. It is very easy to become addicted to computing. And as with all things, moderation is key to temperance. So I encourage you to be temperate. So these are your assignments that you have. Dialogue with a person that has been using a computer for some time, and just ask them the advantages and disadvantages of what it is to use a Mac or to use any other PC. So it is on your assignment that is coming up. So basically, this is the presentation on computers, and I'm going to be giving you an assignment. For any response that you have, you can respond to tvpfclub@gmail.com, and I wish everyone happy computing.